Bad Times at the El Royale is a superb neo-noir example of how seamlessly various instruments of filmmaking, music, set design, costumes, color and lighting, and cinematography can be integrated to create a masterful symphony. The orchestra of Bad Times at the El Royale was comprised of production designer Martin Wist, set decorator Hamish Purdy, costume designer Danny Glicker, cinematographer Seamus McGarvey, and was written and directed by Drew Goddard. It's a film about love and faith, greed and humanity, heroism and falsity, evil and narcissism, hope and insecurity, penitence and self-loathing, with undercurrents of deceit, faith, or lack thereof. It's about change, of times past and times to come, the feeling of limbo, of any lack of real certainty. It's clear that music is a key aspect of the pacing and tone throughout the film. Writer-director Drew Goddard had a playlist mapped out that would exemplify the time period and perfectly accompany each scene before even beginning to work on the script. As he said in an interview with Set Decor, music is almost like the eighth character in the movie. It serves the function of a chorus in a Shakespearean play. It actually is a key part of the emotional fabric of the film. 1969 was a year of great changes happening musically, socially, culturally, politically. And Goddard wanted the music, as well as the overall set design and aesthetic, to reflect these transitions. Just as the music acts as markers, so does the design of the hotel. The establishing shot sets up the location, plot, tone, and time period. It breaks the fourth wall by placing us in the same spot we would find ourselves if we were part of the El Royale. It shows us that there is an overarching motif. There are things hidden beneath the surface. And referring back to music, it's set to 26 miles by the Four Preps, which juxtaposes with the subsequent orientation to 1969 with the song 25 Miles by Edwin Starr. There's quite a bit of jumping in time for each character, but only enough to give us a small glimpse as to why and how they arrived at the El Royale. It's clear upon comparison of the hotel room in the opening shot to the room in 1969 that the hotel underwent renovations to bring it into the era. Gone is the muted and safe beige and brown color washing, a color that the director will describe as somewhere between the later California and Nevada color schemes, and simplistic decorations of the 1950s, giving way to various purple tones and bold geometric patterns on the Nevada side, and luxuriously large rooms with pink and gold tones and varying materials on the California side. You'll notice if you look closely that there are intentionally worn areas on surfaces, exhibiting the action that the hotel has seen, and the idea that it's come to an end and has been forgotten. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's start with the overall design of the El Royale.
The El Royale is a bi-state establishment. You have the option to stay in either the great state of California or the great state of Nevada. Warmth and sunshine to the west, or hope and opportunity to the east.
As Miles Miller explained, the hotel is split down the middle, literally. The bold red line that carries from the parking lot and through the lobby is the state line of California and Nevada. This literal line in the sand alludes to quite a bit. The notion of duality, both within the characters and outwardly in who they are versus who they say they are. The idea of choosing a side, a direction in which to proceed, and differing intentions. The El Royale is based upon a real hotel, the Calneva Lodge, which sits on the same border in the Lake Tahoe region and, at one point in its history, even had a line drawn down the interior. The original hotel was built in 1926 by a San Francisco businessman and received its gambling license in the 1930s. In 1937, the hotel burned down but was rebuilt in just a little over a month and became the largest operating casino in the country. In 1960, Frank Sinatra bought the Calneva with shareholders like Dean Martin, Paul Skinny D'Amato, and evidently even Chicago mobster Sam Giancana. Over the years, it saw many celebrities. Judy Garland was discovered there, and there were visitors such as JFK, the Rat Pack, Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio, Lucille Ball, and so many others. Sinatra even had tunnels built to help the A-listers come and go onto the property without a lot of onlookers and spectacle. It closed in 2013, but the buildings still remain, with hope of renovation. Unlike the Calneva, the El Royale was designed to utilize and emphasize this division in its interiors. In the El Royale, the red line acts as a literal boundary between the two places that have different associations. California with its sunshine, optimism, and fun-loving spirit, thus the orange and gold colors matched with neutral wood textures, which scream sunshine, fame, and success. And Nevada, with its cooler palette of purple, lavender, and reflective surfaces, which represent potential wealth, power, and ambition, but also almost a sadness. I'm sure it's no coincidence that complementary colors were used for both spaces, but you'll see other differences. California is the only side that has alcohol, because it's probably the only side that has a liquor license. It's also $1 more per night, likely the result of taxes. It has these amazing automats with a selection of food items, which are questionable, but still, and a wall of famous guests who have visited. Meanwhile, Nevada is filled with gambling furniture and paraphernalia. It's not a place to lounge and relax like the California section. It's a place to try your luck and hope you come out on the right side. The great unifier within the space is, of course, the music maker, the jukebox. This is one of the few set pieces not color specific to either side, and it sits directly on the state line. Aside from portions of the El Royale, which were built outdoors in British Columbia to capture the daytime arrival scene, the 10,000 square foot hotel set was built on a 60,000 square foot stage at Mammoth Studios. The exterior of the hotel embraces the mid-century modern aesthetic, with its geometric privacy screening and folded plated roof. In order to create such an immersive and era-appropriate environment, Wist and his team specifically avoided any well-known and iconic pieces of furniture that would scream 1960s. They instead embraced the prominent design gestures of the era: sunken spaces, open fireplaces, rich colors and textures, and various pattern combinations. Even the wallpaper was made using a 1950s printing technique. Practically every set piece and piece of decor was custom made, from matchbooks, napkins, and coasters with the hotel logo, to state-shaped keychains for the room keys, to logoed banquettes, to warm petal-like light fixtures. And of course, the iconic El Royale sign. While each character's costume is appropriate to the time period, it was intentional to select wardrobe pieces that would allow them to stand on their own without looking like caricatures of the era. Every character in the film has his or her own signature look to create a visual code of reference, almost like game pieces. Darlene Sweet wears mustards and greens, Father Flynn, aka Doc, wears black and white, Laramie Seymour Sullivan wears plaid, Emily Summerspring, brown and red, Miles Miller wears purple and gold, to match the sides of the hotel, and Billy Lee and Rose wear white. We've already spoken quite a bit about color as it pertains to set pieces, and characters, but one of the subtly permeating aspects of color in Bad Times at the El Royale is in its lighting. Both the film's color and lighting are entwined in the cinematography, which we'll get to shortly. But first, let's look at some of the ways that lighting is used within the film to define place, to create tension, and to illustrate circumstance. The hotel's artificial lighting is era-appropriate, but custom designed to create not only the right aesthetic for the fixtures, but also to create a certain identifiable ambiance. For example, the petal-like pendants on the California side give off a warm, delicate glow, while the bright surface-mounted globes on the Nevada side, along with the lights of the casino slot machines, have a much brighter, glitzy, and almost cold look. The curtains surrounding the floating fireplaces were hand-beaded to carry the lighting upwards. The guest rooms are warm, but lowly lit, as it's clear that the intention was for guests to mainly spend time in the lobby areas. But, as you know, everything is not apparent on the surface when it comes to the El Royale. The bellman's quarters and secret corridors that run behind the guest rooms are dark. The only light that punctuates the corridors comes from each guest room, literally keeping anyone walking there in the dark until they're able to see what each guest is up to. Light and its color act as omens throughout the film. While the weather starts sunny and clear, it quickly turns to a thunderstorm, creating an ominous atmosphere and a feeling of isolation. Red or reddish lighting and darkness are used in various points throughout the film to express danger when a character leaves their place of safety, or when danger is approaching. leading up to the final instance when the El Royale is going up in flames, in a place where such bad things have happened and every character is looking for redemption or a way forward. This is a literal instance of purification and rebirth through fire. In fact, if you pay attention, the film gets darker as the movie has progressed, which leads us to our last instrument. Because such care was taken in designing and detailing the sets, it was crucial to capture the entire set from floor to ceiling. This meant filming in anamorphic format. Specifically, anamorphic C-series lenses from Panavision were selected by cinematographer Seamus Garvey. These were particular to 1968, so they were perfect for really capturing the period in which the film is set. This is where the lighting design for the sets gets really interesting. Bad Times at the El Royale was shot on film without the use of traditional set lighting. Instead, the sets themselves and the lighting that was designed for them was done so that there would be enough lighting by which to shoot. The only place set lighting was used was during any flashback scenes. Using more specific lighting would differentiate the way that those scenes looked. As McGarvey stated in an interview with the Film School Rejects, "I love what those lenses do with flare and with the way the light just collides with the very glass itself." Similar to the overall light level that we mentioned previously, the film's shots also become more intimate as the film progressed, starting with wide sweeping shots and subtly becoming more and more narrow. Bad Times at the El Royale is a beautifully designed and photographed story of faith and denial, truth and lies, bravery and cowardice. A story of people from different walks with different agendas brought together at an intersection of fate, for the good or for the bad. But which is which? Until we face that decision ourselves, that hard line, we'll never know how we may choose. Thanks for watching. Is there anything you'd like to add? Any films you'd like for us to cover? Leave a comment down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our others. Give us a like, a subscribe, and follow CineStructure on social media.